Hello and welcome back to Civilization 5. We are playing as the Danish. We are Vikings. We are playing a memorial game for a friend of ours who was not who passed away and is not able to finish his conquest of the world as the Vikings. So we're going to do that for him. So here we go. So what we've done so far, we have 3 cities that we've developed. Our cities are producing, in our main city here, we're producing this water wheel, which will help our city produce more things. Then we're going to make a settler so that we can go over to this large island to the north, build a city here, which will act as our home base to be able to attack Germany, which is our eventual goal, is to take out Germany as our first conquest. There are some barbarians here that we're engaging in a war with. Normally I would not be attacking barbarians on another continent unless I needed experience. All our troops are as experienced as they get, so this isn't going to teach them anything new, but it will keep military units out of the hands of Germany, which is just one less unit we'll have to face once they're actual German troops. So we're going to keep fighting this hand axe. We want to kill it. And we should be able to kill it with this unit right here. That hurt our unit pretty badly. We're still alive, and we still get some culture from it. And it looks like we're going to get to choose a new cultural policy, a new social policy. Given that we're getting ready to go to war, we may want to take another tradition in the honor policy. So the Terracotta Army, someone else built it. We had talked about that would be not a bad wonder of the world for us, but we're not going to get that. Obviously, someone else built it. So they just spawned a new unit, and they spawned a trireme, a gallery. Sorry, a galley.
Oh, μονοποιούν θαύμα. Ποιον όνομα επιμισέ ο καλός ξένος? Είμαι η Θεοδόρα, η φίλη του Βυζαντίου.
So we've met Byzantium. This is Lady Theodora of Byzantium. I believe that's the Hagia Sophia behind her. Again, we're going to trade with her. We don't really have that much to offer, but we can find out where they're at. So let's see where Byzantium is. So Byzantium is way up here in the corner. So they are far, far away from us. We get a social policy, like I said. So we could get another worker, which is not bad. We can always use more workers. Or we can start developing our honor social policy, which I think will be good for us. I think if we get this, we'll be able to produce military units faster, and we'll get a great general. So I think we're going to do that. A great general will be very, very helpful when we want to take out Germany. They probably will have a great general as well. We can actually see what the German... So you can see they've been building their honor up as well. So they're very militaristic as well. They actually know a lot more about honor than we do. They haven't been spending any time on liberty or tradition. So they're going to be a tough military opponent. But we're going to be up for the challenge, I think. So this unit right here, I don't want to keep attacking the camp. It gets riskier as you start getting into the red. But I also, and they just spawned a unit, so the timer for them to spawn a unit is more in our favor. So I think we can rest up at least a turn. This guy, he needs to get out of the way and heal. There's no way I'm going to send a unit that badly injured into combat if I can avoid it. This guy can come down here. Again, he's not fully healed, but we don't need to be fully healed to take out a barbarian camp that's halfway injured. This worker, we built the farm. We're going to go now, and we are going to start working on these hills. And you can see these are all generating faith for us because of our desert folklore. So this great general, I'm going to put him in the city, which is a little bit safer for him if something crazy was to happen. I don't need him to really do anything right now, other than once we have that fourth city over on this continent, then we'll send the general over there to be able to help. I'd rather get him across the water before war breaks out than try and transport him across water where he's very vulnerable while German ships are trying to kill anything they can find in the water. So that is the Byzantium special unit. Their drone can shoot basically shoot fire out of it, which is pretty awesome. The Moroccans want to be friends with us. I don't see any reason why not to. So yes, we will work together. Eventually we'll be taking on Morocco, but we have at least Germany and Sweden to take care of before we even turn our attention to Morocco. So until then, we can be friends. The Byzantium, this is one of my favorite units in the entire game. It's an awesome little ship. And you just saw it in action where it took out that ranged, it's a ranged naval unit, which you don't get very often. So, and you get it much earlier than other ranged naval units. So our general's just going to go to sleep until we need him. Here it's telling us that we should build a farm here, which is not my natural inclination. I would normally say to build a mine here. Let's go over to the sheep and we'll build a pasture here, which will help our food as well. And we can figure out what to do with these if we need food. So Germany and Morocco are friends. We're friends with half of that alliance. What I'm looking to have happen here is we want to build this fourth city. I think that's our next goal, is to get this fourth city going over here, which will be our base of operations against Germany, and then maybe we can start attacking some... So they want to pay us to come through our territory, which I am all for. Yes, we'll take that deal. We need, you can see, we're money again. Money is our biggest problem. So they're attacking at range this barbarian camp. They can't actually clear the barbarian camp because it's a ship and it can't go into the land, but they're racking up experience for their troops, which is exactly what we did when we fought barbarians ourselves. So there's this barbarian camp right here, which we want to take out. We'll attack it with this unit, which won't be enough to kill it. But this guy that I told to rest for a few turns, he can be the one to take them out, which he's going to do right now. So we'll get a little bit of gold, and we'll get some culture for killing. See? And we keep those barbarians out of the hands of the Germans. One thing that sometimes you'll see, human players will do this. The AI isn't smart enough to figure this out. But sometimes the Germans will keep like a barbarian camp right outside their territory and let it start producing military units for them. So basically, they'll let the camp spawn a military unit, then they'll attack that military unit and take it over. So it lets them build up the experience of their army and also have troops being generated for them. So removing this camp is only going to be good for us. So these guys are just going to rest here in place. I don't have anything that I really want them to do right now. Once we get this this extra furs produced here, we'll be able to trade it to somebody for some money, which will be another way that we can start trying to solve our monetary issues. Again, we're back to losing more money per turn. As we start building stuff in our cities, it costs money to maintain these things. So we'll go ahead a little bit in money, then we'll build something that costs more money. So it's a constant struggle here. We were friends with Wellington. We're not friends with them anymore. So they're not going to be giving us... what did they give us? So they were giving us food, which they're not going to continue to do if we're not friends with them. If they're not... they don't have any missions for us to be able to accomplish to become friends again. They'll still keep trading with us, so I would like to be friends with them, but I'm not going to spend money I don't have to bribe them over to our side. As they develop missions, maybe we'll take on missions for them. Okay, so we've got our settler. So the settler, I want to build a city over here. And I want this marble eventually will be nice to have. So I either want to build a city in this square or this square. I don't think either one is that... This one probably is more advantageous because it gives us less area with Munich that is in conflict. So we'll move our settler over to here. It's going to take a little while to get there. Once it does, we'll build the city, and that will be our military base. Now this city, when we build it, is probably going to have a different... We're going to be building different buildings than we normally do. Because this city is going to be right in the middle of a war. We're probably going to want to build city walls. We're going to want to build barracks. We're going to build all military stuff in here. This is going to be basically a military outpost that we're going to be working on. We're working science-wise. We're working to get our berserkers as fast as we can. And along the way to doing that, the next thing we're going to get is engineering, which we just got.
Mechanical science is the noblest, and above all the others, the most useful.
So it lets us build the Great Wall, lets us build aqueducts. We can also build forts. We can build bridges. And it gives us an additional trade route, which is very good for us because we need those trade routes to be able to produce more money. The Great Wall is not that good for us to have, but it's a pain when enemies have it. So it's one of those things that you might build to deny to your enemies more than have for yourself. So in Aarhus, we're almost done with the water wheel, but I'm going to build another cargo ship. Water wheels really help your cities out a lot. They're great buildings. They're expensive. We don't have a lot of money right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on a cargo ship first. So Wellington wants a new natural wonder. If we discover one, they will be happy with us. We're exploring the world anyway. There's not really anything we can do to speed that up. We'll just uncover them as time develops.
Es wäre in eurem Interesse, dass ihr dieses Angebot sorgfältig prüft.
They want open borders with us. I do not see any reason to do that. I'm going to refuse that offer. There's a German ship that's exploring a little bit. This is why I want to get stuff across the water before war breaks out with us. This great general, I'm going to have him start moving across the water as well, so that he can get to the city by the time it's actually established. These military units, eventually we're going to start turning into berserkers, who will then go over here into Munich, take over Munich. So this guy's fully healed. I don't really have anything that I need him to do. I could move him around a little bit. Yeah. Let's take this guy, who's also fully healed, and I want him to go and start exploring a little bit more. We might as well, we're paying every turn for these units, we might as well have them do something as much as possible to justify paying for them when we're not at war and when money is so valuable to us right now. So these two guys, I will move this military unit over to where our city is. Going to be The other one can just stay in place. You can see the Germans are working this terrain around Munich. So Munich's not actually that great of a city. If you look, you can see they have stone that they're producing, but other than that, not that much. So when we conquer Munich,
Άκουσα σε πρέποντα της αλωτρίας ομιλίας.
they want to trade us
Munich's.
furs for silver. Normally, that's a pretty good deal. A luxury resource for a luxury resource is always nice because it increases your happiness. Happiness is very valuable, but we have a more pressing need. We want gold, and they're going to take that deal. So now we're making some money, and then when we build that trade route, we'll be able to trade a little bit more and get even more money. We have 5 happiness. As soon as we build this city, our happiness will drop. Every city you build decreases your happiness by a set amount. So we're going to move over to these sheep and start building a pasture for them. We just did that here. So now we have to decide what it is we want to build in these. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to build a farm here, and then I'm going to build mines over here. I think that will give us the mix that we're looking for. We'll get food and we'll get production. And then this desert square, I'm not really probably going to do anything with. As we start developing some like special great people that we get, they can build unique buildings here. So maybe this will become like a holy site or something to that effect. And that's how we'll take advantage of that square. This forest will eventually get a lumber mill, and then eventually we're going to get those truffles. And this, our settlers are coming over here to make a 4th city over here. I'm pretty sure that when we conquer Munich, we are not going to actually take over this city. It's not good enough. It costs unhappiness, and it slows down your science. It's not a great city. And the city that we're going to build here will be equally as good. There's no special resources here that we could not get somewhere else. So I think Munich is destined to be destroyed here by Viking hordes. I'm going to move this guy just a little bit over into here, just so he's closer to Germany. I don't think it makes much of a difference, but... build the pasture. So you can see our capital city is cranking out military units. We have this archer. The archer I'm going to send across the water here. Again, and I'll put him... So Munich is actually going to be really kind of difficult to attack because there's only one unit can attack it at a time. So we need to get some ranged units over here. So I'm going to move these archers over here. And eventually we're going to have siege engines as well, which will be nice. So we'll build a farm here like they want. This guy can just wait. I don't think that we can take out Munich with just a warrior. Even if we just start feeding warriors in there to attack it and die, I don't think we would have enough to be able to do that. Germany's sending a settler around here. I'm not sure where they're headed to. They might be dropping a city over here. That's probably what I would do if I was them. It's possible they could be coming down here to this area that we want. Now, if that happens, when we see if their settler comes down here, it's going to be war. They cannot take this area from us. So the cargo ship, I told you every so many turns we get to reassign where it goes. So now we get to reassign where this is going to go. I don't want to keep trading with Munich. We're going to trade with Wellington. We want to deny Germany as much trade as we can get. So we have a unit that we can promote, which is this archer that we just built, which we're going to leave I'm going to change the build order a little bit here. The composite bowman is nice, but I want catapults more than I want another composite bowman right now. The catapult will let us take the city. The composite bowman will be good for killing other units. And actually, we'll leave this less advanced military unit behind to defend the homeland, since there's not really a threat over here. This is just kind of like an insurance policy, where the actual composite bowman, our more advanced military unit, is going to head over to what will be our front line. This guy will pop into the city, and he can just wait there until he sees something that needs his attention. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff headed over to this German island. Our settlers are on their way. We've got a great general that's coming over here as well. We've got some archers. We've got military units over here. We're going to be kicking off a war pretty soon with them. When we get ironworking, we'll be able to upgrade our guys into these swordsmen, which is what the next step to getting to berserkers, which will be good for us. So we're going to want to do that when we can, which is going to take money, and we're making money right now, so that will be good, and that's going to be our use for our money. I'm going to move. See, their borders are expanding, so it's going to be a little bit harder to get to Munich without taking a bunch of fire from them. So he's going to sail around and land over in here. When the actual war breaks out, he'll be firing onto Munich, and then our catapults will be firing onto Munich, and then our swordsmen will be assaulting the city, and then they'll be rotating in and out of danger. So as they attack, they're going to get really hurt, they'll move back, and new swordsmen will move into place. That's our basic plan to take out Munich. I wish I knew where Germany was going to... They had a settler that they were moving around, and I don't know where that settler is. There's a barbarian encampment that we discovered. Let's see where that is. Okay, way up here. This is not something for us to be concerned about or that we can do anything about anyway. So this guy is kind of exploring a little more of the German interior. So he's going to just keep exploring here. I'm not going to need him for war that soon. This guy can stay right here. It's a good spot for him. Now Germany might start getting a little nervous that we have military units right on their border. And I don't want them to know what we're thinking. So let's actually move this guy back a little bit away from their borders. We want them dead. They don't need to know that yet. It's going to be a big surprise when our guys show up and start burning and looting their cities. That's my hope anyway. Our settler is here, so we'll be able to found another city, which we're going to do. So we built Ribe? I'm not sure how Ribe? I don't know how you say that. So, like I said, we're going to start building different things here than we would have built before. The first thing I'm going to want is walls in this city. And then I'm going to want barracks. So walls will help us with our defense because Germany's going to counterattack us. It's, you know, they're going to want to fight back against us, and having walls in place will help us defend a lot. So we've got our city here. This is going to be our base for our German assaults. We're almost done with ironworking. I'm going to start moving these units back into our territory. I can only upgrade them. He's still doing something, so he's going to continue. Okay. So we can see there's Hamburg over here. There's Berlin. This guy needs to come back home, though, so that he can be upgraded into a swordsman. I'm not sure exactly how much it's going to cost us to upgrade to swordsman. Probably somewhere... Well, we'll find out in 2 turns. So we'll develop ironworking, we'll upgrade our military units into swordsmen. The cost per turn to maintain them doesn't change, they just become better and more worth the investment that we're making in them. You can see our score, we are lagging way behind these other civilizations. That will change as we start taking over other people. Like Germany is also not doing so hot, but as we start taking their cities, it will add to our score as well. The score is the way that the computer keeps track of things. It doesn't consider everything. So while we're doing poorly in terms of score, we're building our foundation for when we're going to strike. When we are going to take off is once we have berserkers. That'll be when we start conquering a lot of the world. So we have our Great General. The Great General adds combat bonuses to everyone who's near him, so having him here will really help our troops. So I think getting him across the ocean was a good idea. He's going to go to sleep until we need him. We're going to get ironworking and then upgrade our guys. Our 3rd melee unit is on its way back to land on this coast and start being upgraded as well. But that's going to take a few turns for him to get back in place. Our cities, we're almost done with a catapult, which will also come over and start helping with the war when it's time. Our cargo ship is going to be ready in a little while, which will help our trade. Again, money is very, very useful, so having at least not losing
Do not
money.
wait to strike till the iron is hot, but make it hot by striking.
So, like I said, we're going to have a balance here, and I'm going to build a mine on these hills. So this city is building its infrastructure up. We've got a barracks, a granary, and a monument in the city. Once we build the library, then we can decide what it is we want this city to actually start doing. It'll have most of the foundations of what we can build that every city needs. So, now that we have... Now, metal casting, this is where we get our berserkers. And when that happens, the game is going to change very much into a war game. At this point, we're going to go nuts and start attacking people. We found a natural wonder, which is something that Wellington wanted us to do, so they're going to be impressed with us. I'm going to start changing these guys over. You can see we can upgrade. It costs 80 gold to go and turn into a swordsman, which is most of our money. So this is expensive. So we're probably not going to be able to upgrade all of our guys into swordsmen, which is unfortunate. That's very, very expensive. This catapult I'm going to send over here. The catapult's going to be very important to us to be able to start taking over people's cities. So this worker right here, I'm going to send him over to here to start working on those sheep. They wanted me to build another farm. I'm going to ignore their advice and I'm going to build a mine there. We just got another terrain square here, which is a floodplain. We'll build a farm over there. So I'm going to stop it here. And when we come back, we will have our upgraded military and we probably will begin our war against Germany. So I hope to see you then.